Courtney Love is clearly not a Swiftie. The whole singer has never been known for mincing her words, but this time it was Taylor Swift who was in her crosshairs. In a recent interview with The Standard, Courtney Love stated that Taylor Swift was not important and uninteresting as an artist. Now that's a pretty remarkable thing to say, considering that you can't go anywhere these days without seeing Taylor Swift's image in some capacity. Her global outreach is currently unmatched, but that just doesn't seem to be cutting it for Love. The whole singer also went on to say that she was basically just the Madonna of this generation and accused Taylor of being a safe space for girls. Perhaps Courtney Love was hoping that the biggest pop artist would have a more unique personality, but everything that Swift is doing at the present time seems to be right, so why on earth would she change it? And on the topic of being unimportant, well, that's just plain false. There is clearly no one in the music industry who is currently more important than Taylor Swift. Everything she touches pretty much turns to gold, and she's able to sell out the biggest arenas in the world in a matter of seconds. On top of that, she also brought in a ton of new fans and revenue for the NFL by simply dating Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. Clearly she is very important, but that's just not how Courtney Love seems to view things. Now it's definitely not too surprising to hear Courtney Love compare Taylor Swift with Madonna, but it's not for the reasons you might imagine. Yes, they were both the clear frontrunners in pop music for their respective generations, but Courtney Love has a pretty rough history with Madonna, who she also called out in this crazy interview. Courtney Love simply stated that she doesn't like Madonna and Madonna doesn't like her. Now this likely traces all the way back to 1995 when the pair had a disastrous encounter at the MTV Video Music Awards. Madonna was in the middle of an interview with Kurt Loder when a wild Courtney Love crashed the show and created one of the most bizarre interviews that we've ever seen. Love was acting completely erratic and was asking some very sensitive questions to Madonna, which the latter was clearly not interested in answering. So it's pretty easy to see why these two still don't see eye to eye after so many years. Now maybe that was just bringing back some bad memories for Courtney, but it's a bit of a mystery why she's now comparing her old nemesis to Taylor Swift. Aside from their mainstream popularity, it's pretty tough to say if they really have much in common at all. Maybe Courtney was just in a terrible mood when she gave this interview because Taylor and Madonna were not the only ones who were catching heat from Love. After she was finished dissing Taylor Swift and Madonna, she then moved on to Beyonce to give her thoughts on the singer's new album, Cowboy Carter. Courtney didn't really have any good thing to say about anyone in this interview, so it's not too surprising to hear that she didn't like the new album. She just didn't seem to care for Beyonce's attempt at a country record, but she did at least have one good comment about the singer. Courtney said that she appreciated the fact that Beyonce was stepping into a space that is usually reserved for white artists and respected the album's symbolism in a sense. But musically, however, Courtney just really didn't like Beyonce's break into the country space. We can't imagine that Beyonce will be paying much attention to these comments, and it would honestly be surprising if she even gave a response at all. Like every other album Beyonce has ever released, Cowboy Carter is currently trending near the top of the charts. And outside of Courtney Love, the masses really seem to be enjoying her step into a brand new genre. And just to wrap up this bizarre interview, Courtney Love also decided to take a shot at Lana Del Rey. She claimed the singer used to be great, but she has now seemingly lost her touch. After her 2023 cover of John Denver's famous song Take Me Home Country Road, Courtney Love now claims that the singer should take about 7 years off. Del Rey literally just finished performing at Coachella, so it's pretty obvious that she doesn't need to take any time off and her musical talent is still very much alive. But even though she probably won't be listening to any Lana Del Rey music in the near future, Courtney went on to clarify her comments about all the performers she roasted in this interview. While she did say that it was great to see so many female performers succeeding in the music industry, she believes that they are all becoming clones of one another. So this comes just 1 month after Courtney Love ripped into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for not inducting enough female and black artists into its ranks. She claimed that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony is just an annual reminder of just how extraordinary a woman has to be to make it into the old boys club. She stated that the voting process needs to be overhauled and the nominating committee is completely broken. Now, this year's list of inductees include the likes of Missy Elliott and Cyndi Lauper, amongst other female artists, but that was overshadowed by a long list of male inductees. Courtney is clearly very passionate about giving a strong platform for female performers, performers, but it's also strange that she would go after some of the top female musicians of this generation. The likes of Taylor Swift and Beyonce seem like absolute guarantees to be inducted into the prestigious Music Hall of Fame at some point down the road, so her new comments are definitely a bit misleading. Maybe she does have their best interest at heart in this scenario, but it's highly likely that some people will take her comments the exact opposite way. With all of that in mind though, we can't forget that Courtney Love has been outspoken for pretty much her entire life and career. She also just recently released an 8-part series on BBC Radio 6 Music entitled Courtney Loves Women. The series goes into detail about the special women in Love's life who helped shape her life and career over the years, and she is not afraid to go into detail on some of these stories. She's also stated that she wants the series to redeem some of the women who have been treated so badly by the recording industry over the years. One of the groups she recognized was the all-girl band The Runaways, who were tremendously successful during the 1970s. Love stated that this gave her the idea that Hollywood is run by girls in bands, or at least by girls who wanted to sleep with guys in bands. She then went on to state that she was totally wrong, and Hollywood is exactly like the music industry, which was dominated by men. She did not hold back with her opinions on this topic, and it is very clear that she still wants to make a good change to benefit women in the industry. Now, whether or not Taylor Swift or anyone else will respond to these comments is a bit of a mystery. There's a chance that Swift may never even pay attention to these comments, but she's never been one to shy away from expressing her feelings as well. And ironically, this is something that Courtney Love and Taylor Swift have in common, even if they don't want to admit it. We all know that any man who has done Taylor Swift wrong has been publicly blasted in a song over the years, so who's to say that Taylor wouldn't throw Courtney Love's name into a new track? She might not like what Courtney had to say about her importance in the music industry, but she might be interested in her drive for change. Taylor is another big name performer who has been advocating for female musicians over the years, so perhaps her and Courtney could find a common ground in this sense. Keeping that in mind though, still a bit of a strange mystery that Courtney Love would want to tear down a woman who is clearly a role model for many young women around the world. Perhaps she feels that Taylor could do more for her Swifties, but it seems like there is definitely two sides to this very strange coin. No matter how you see this scenario, it seems pretty clear that Courtney Love wants to see change in the industry. She is not afraid to say exactly what she thinks about anyone, even if her comments don't sit well with many people around the world. And in this case, it seems like she believes that Taylor Swift, Madonna, Beyonce, and Lana Del Rey all have one thing in common. They are all apparently cliches who should just come up with something more interesting. But considering all the success that they have all enjoyed, maybe they'd be better off just ignoring Love's comments altogether. Courtney has no problem voicing her opinion about major performers in the industry, but it'll be interesting to hear if she has any solutions for them. It's quite obvious that she would like to see big names like Taylor Swift make a change, but it's a bit of a mystery how they would do that. Courtney's been on record saying that some of her favorite female artists include Debbie Harry, Patti Smith, Nina Simone, and PJ Harvey. Perhaps she would rather see the big names of today perform like her favorites, but that would go against her point of everyone being a copy of one another. Needless to say though, a roundtable discussion between Courtney Love and all the women she named in this interview with The Standard would definitely be must-see TV. That's all we have for now, but we'll definitely have to keep an eye on some of the big names that were called out in this interview. It'll be really interesting to see if any of them take the time to address Courtney Love's comments, or if they just dismiss them as white noise. Facing criticism is nothing new for a big name performer in the entertainment industry, but how they respond to it is what really makes the difference. Let's see who, if any, will take the first step and respond to Courtney Love's wild interview.
Celeb scoundrel number 10, our girl Katy Perry. How the drama ball starts rolling is during a 2014 Rolling Stone interview where Taylor, ever the vague insinuator, for some reason chose to talk about a nameless celebrity who, for years, I was never sure if we were friends or not, Taylor said. She would come up to me at award shows and say something and walk away, and I would think, are we friends? Or did she just give me the harshest insult of my life? Then she did something so horrible. I was like, oh, we are just straight up enemies. She basically tried to sabotage an entire arena tour. She hired a bunch of people out from under me. When you give out that much information, you might as well have the guts to drop the name as well, because it took essentially zero time for folks to figure out she was talking about Katy. It's 3 years into their beef when Perry approaches this subject, with James Corden in her May interview stating that the employees Swift was referring to were dancers that Katy had already known, used, and had close friendships with. And they even had it stipulated in their contract contract so they could leave Swift's tour to hit the road with Perry when the time came. And when the dancers approached Swift's management in regards to doing exactly that, Perry said they were fired. She claimed Swift also refused to discuss the matter with her. This feud went on to pack some serious punches. They fought on Twitter, where Katy called her a Regina George in sheep's clothing, and then Taylor released Bad Blood, which was almost definitely about Katy apparently. Then we see Swift put her entire catalog on streaming services on the day that Perry releases her Witness album. And then Swift dropped Look What You Made Me Do the same day as Perry's Swish Swish video premiered. So the feud went unresolved for years until 2018, when Katy sent Taylor a literal olive branch as a peace offering on the opening night of her Reputation tour. The following year, Katy appeared in Taylor's star-studded music video, You Need to Calm Down. And all was well in the world of Taylor and Katy. Number 9 is Diplo. Now famous for trudging through miles of mud with Chris Rock to get out of Burning Man, Diplo's made headlines for plenty of reasons in his career, usually unsavory ones, if I'm being honest, and who'd have thunk it. But when he was boinking Katy Perry back in 2014 in the midst of these two feuding, because I guess there's no other professionally trained dancers out there people can hire, Diplo decided to be a dipstick and say some pretty uncool things. Namely, one tweet where he straight up said someone should make a Kickstarter to get Taylor Swift a booty. Yeesh, dude, that's a tad too far. And let me say, it wasn't even cancel culture era yet, and folks came for Diplo's throat. While Taylor never responded, everyone's favorite soulful sun girl Lorde swept in with the iconic retort, should we do something about your tiny while we're at it? Earning over 20,000 retweets. When asked in 2019, however, Diplo did comment that making that tweet was one of the worst decisions of his career. A fair remark, seeing as it's not only accurate, but he was in a relationship at the time that made him biased towards the situation and say something stupid he shouldn't. Celebrity insult or overreaction number 8 is Tina and Amy, aka Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. That's not that I should have to tell you that. So, famous respectively for their dicey and quirky comedy, these two women are a notorious pair who flourish when working together. Naturally, that's why they're paired to host the 2013 Golden Globes, where the two women chose to poke fun at Taylor's serial dating habits while on stage. Now, to give some context to the situation, 2013 was a year where this was a hot button topic, with everybody and their mother chirping in on Taylor's dating life, making it become a conversation more than about Taylor Swift herself and rather about a young woman experiencing dating culture differently than men in the society we live in. Naturally, that being the case, like anything hip in the news, it made its way into the Globes' speech, where Amy and Tina made some throwaway jokes about avoiding Michael J. Fox's son and using some time to learn about herself. To the surprise of many people, including Tina and Amy, Taylor actually felt insulted. She went so far as to tell Vanity Fair that there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. Whoa, okay. I'm not gonna lie again, not really up to date with celebrities, but everything I read about the situation, that's a pretty far jump in reaction to the commentary made. But Faye was taken aback by Swift taking the comedy bit so seriously, and she told Entertainment Tonight, I did not see that one coming. It was a joke, and it was a lighthearted joke, and it's a shame she didn't take it in the crazy aunt spirit way in which it was intended. Amy, when asked, told The Hollywood Reporter, I feel bad if she was upset. I am a feminist. She is a young and talented girl. That being said, I do agree I'm going to hell, but for other reasons, mostly boring tax stuff. Swift's jump earned her some side-eye teasing from the ladies, notably at the 2014 Golden Globes when Faye told Ford there's a special place in hell for her, in December 2015 during a Saturday Night Live sketch. Next up on the Taylor insult train is number 7. It's a guy named Ed Drost. So he's the frontman of Grizzly Bear. He's friends with another band called Haim. Taylor Swift is friends with the dudes from Haim. Alright, so what he did wrong is he was super apathetic towards her in 2012. I know, and that came from a tweet that said, super relieved Taylor Swift is up for another award, was worried she didn't have enough, #feud. Remember when folks were putting hashtags like that in sentences? Anyways, in 2015, he goes on a machismo-riddled rage fest on social media, which sounds a little like this. I finally feel comfortable expressing my distaste for the rudest, fakest person I've ever met, #liberating, I'm done dragging, but I'm glad people recognize this skunk finally, #trust. I don't understand the last sentence, but he did post a photo of an article describing Swift's alleged hyper-control of her squad with said social media post. Drost then followed that by saying, obsessed that people are catching on. I think this article article really sums up how people who are taken really feel. She's being given a free pass for too long, plus first-hand experience. I have a whole other story to tell. Still feels unsafe though, she frightens me genuinely. Well, we never heard Dro's story because too many of Taylor's squad went on to attack the dude like Gigi Hadid and Martha Hunt, and he deleted his Twitter account. The end. For 6, it's Miley Cyrus. Imagine my surprise learning these two aren't friends because I felt like they would be friends. But from what I read today, this was only the case in the good old Hannah Montana days when Taylor was like the Waverly-voiced country folk singer and Miley was the wig-wearing spunkster. But it seems there was no vendetta, simply that the women grew apart as their careers turned them from kids to adults. However, Miley opens her mouth and doesn't mince a word when it comes to her dislike nowadays, especially in reference to the girl power peddling of Taylor. I'm not trying to be in the squad, Cyrus told the New York Times when asked in 2015, referencing Taylor's infamous group of girlfriends. None of my friends are famous, and not because of any other reason than I just like real people who are living real lives because I'm inspired by them. The same month, Cyrus went on to vent to Marie Claire about Swift's Bad Blood video. I don't get the violence revenge thing. That's supposed to be a good example, and I'm a bad role model. This commentary, while insulting to Taylor, absolutely should be acknowledged with context. Miley, unlike Taylor, being a Disney star, had critical and harsh expectations she needed to follow. So not only in the performance, but in her appearance, and she went through a lot of this alone. So if she wore a t-shirt wrong, she'd be smeared in the media, but Taylor can pop out with a girl squad, and all of them fit unrealistic body standards and aesthetics that Miley was held to, and they received no critique. This would 100% inspire some bitterness, and it still seems to exist today. Number 5 is Calvin Harris. So the pair collaborated on Harris's projected song, This Is What You Came For, to create the world's most evilly ingrained earworm. Because they reportedly didn't want to draw attention to their relationship through music, Swift used a pseudonym, Nils Schulberg, in the song's credits. Harris stuck to their mutual plan, and even when the radio personality Ryan Seacrest asked him if he'd ever worked with his then girlfriend, Calvin stated, "You know, we haven't spoke about a collaboration, I can't really see it happening though." Immediately after the split, butthurt Calvin drops the song, and Taylor's team wastes no time going, actually, Taylor helped make this. And to quote TMZ report, Swift's squad was sick of Calvin trashing Taylor and feel he should be thanking her for quietly giving him a smash hit. Anyway, who's to say? But on the topic of saying stuff, Calvin's response to the immediate attack on him was, "I figured if you're happy in your new relationship, you should focus on that instead of trying to tear down your ex-boyfriend for something to do." Hurtful to me at this point that she and her team would go so far their way to try and make me look bad at this stage. But I know you're off tour and you need someone new to try and bury like Katy, etc, but I'm not that guy. Sorry, I won't allow it. Damn, Calvin popped off. I'm kind of impressed the guy who makes music could actually spit bars. For number 4, we're gonna do Demi Lovato. So, these two had a bestie in common in their late teen years, and that's Selena Gomez. And like two girls who are both best friends with a third, but not with each other, there just had to be drama. So first up, we got Exhibit A, the infamous 2010 interview video of her quipping, "Ask Taylor," when asked about their mutual BFF, Selena. Lovato's taste for Swift apparently intensified during the 1989 era tour, when Swift began preaching about feminism and squad goals. Context again, people. Disney star. She used to be a Disney star. I think in certain situations, certain people could be doing more if they're going to claim feminism as part of their brand, Lovato told Glamour in 2016. To be honest, and this is probably going to get me in trouble, I don't see anybody in any sort of squad that has a normal body. It's kind of this false image of what people should look like and what they should be like, and it's not real. I think having a song and a video about tearing Katy Perry down, that's not women's empowerment. 3 is Nicki Minaj, who back in 2015, Nicki tweeted her frustration that Anaconda wasn't nominated for Video of the Year at the VMAs by saying, "If your video celebrates women with very slim bodies, you will be nominated for Vid of the Year." And she ain't wrong, but Taylor took a leap of faith that it was about her instead of, I don't know, asking, and fires back publicly, "I've done nothing but love and support you. It's unlike you to pit women against each other. Maybe one of the men took your slots." Then she invited the rapper to take the stage with her, saying, "Nicki's invited to any stage I'm ever on." It felt holier than thou. Nicki hit back saying she definitely wasn't referring to Taylor with those tweets, and partially blamed the media for immediately assuming she was talking about Taylor, and now the slew of other videos nominated over hers featuring slim women. Taylor then apologized to Nicki, and then at the show, Taylor joined Nicki on stage to sing "The Night Is Still Young" and a few lines from Bad Blood, so it's fine. Number 2. It's Camila Bell. So once Joe Jonas broke up with Taylor, he started dating Camila Bell. This led Taylor to write the song Better Than Revenge about the actress, which if you listen to it, even when it came out, let alone now, it's gross and shamey. So Camila never publicly responded to this song, which is fair seeing as the lyric was, she's not a saint and she's not what you think. She's an actress. She's better known for the things that she does on the mattress. Oh, yeah. If some 18-year-old's saying that about me, I'd probably ignore it too. The only time Camila made a peep, she made it during the Nicki vs. Taylor Twitter smackdown, finding ironic to parade the pit against women against other women argument about as one unmeasurably capitalizes on the takedown of a woman. Camila Bell replied to this, couldn't have said it better myself. Whew! Now that's tough, Taylor, and it seemingly did the trick, because Taylor Swift, now a grown woman, used her re-recording as an opportunity to right some wrongs, changing the lyrics to be, he was a moth to flame, she was holding the matches. To quote her in an interview as to why she made the change, in case it wasn't blindingly obvious, that's the age you are when you think someone can actually take your boyfriend. Then you grow up and realize no one can take someone from you if they don't want to leave. Number 1, Kanye. Everyone's tired of hearing of it, and Kanye by now. But you can't talk Taylor without talking about Kanye, and not because he tried to claim he made her career. Kanye quite literally climbs on stage, takes the mic, starts talking crap, and saying she didn't deserve the award. It was 2009, Taylor's young as hell, and this is a Hollywood star who's berating her, so she just kind of awkwardly stands there holding the award until others begin to intervene. The pair makes amends a few years later. He sends her some flowers, some shoes, all seems well, but then the other Yeezy drop, as did the track Famous. In the music video, he for some reason commissioned a nude wax figure of her and writes a lyric about banging her and another one about her being the B word. Taylor complained about it, and rightfully effing so, because that's insane behavior. And then along comes Kim Kardashian. Taylor said she hadn't given permission for Kanye to use her name like that, and Kim, who was then married to Kanye, uploaded a video to Snap that implied Taylor did in fact give consent. Taylor swaps her statement to saying she's reluctantly fine with the intercourse lyric if this is the way things had to be. Anyway, in 2020, the full version of Kim's video was released, which proves she did in fact alter the video before uploading it. Anyways, Taylor did still raise complaints about being called a B-word since she never agreed to that, and that's one even Kim can't argue. A few songs on Taylor's 2017 Reputation are speculated to be about Kim and Kanye as a result, including This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things.
First off, we have Shake It Off, and it involved a lawsuit. The lawsuit was filed by Sean Hall and Nathan Butler, the songwriters behind Playas Gonna Play, a 2000 song by the R&B group 3LW that contains the lines, Playas they gonna play, and haters they gonna hate. They accused Swift of using those lines without permission or credit on Shake It Off, which was released in 2014 and became one of Swift's defining hits, notching 4 weeks at #1 on the Billboard singles chart. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed, and Taylor stated, I have never heard the song Playas Gonna Play and have never heard of that song or the group 3LW, she said in the court filing. Getaway Car is another song that people are accusing Swift of stealing, and it involves another famous celebrity, Hilary Duff. Hilary, known for her hit Disney Channel show Lizzie McGuire, also had a successful music career after her departure from Disney Channel, and she has been going viral on the internet lately for her iconic performances on talk shows, but that's besides the point. Hilary put out a single called Breathe In, Breathe Out, and the song includes lyrics such as X marks the spot where we fall in love. Sound familiar? Taylor Swift's Getaway Car has almost identical lyrics. X marks the spot where we fell apart. Fans were quick to notice the similarities and express their disappointment with the singer, one user saying on Twitter, don't get me wrong, I love Taylor, but the second I heard that, I immediately thought of Hilary. Honestly, a bit disappointed. Another user wrote, really Taylor? You're gonna rip off Hilary Duff's Breathe In, Breathe Out on Getaway Car and think we won't notice? X marks the spot where we fell apart? Okay, hashtag reputation. Our next song on the list is Wildest Dreams. Taylor has drawn quite a few criticisms for biting Lana Del Rey's style in a few ways. Most notably, listeners cite how much the choruses for Swift's Wildest Dreams and Lana Del Rey's Without You sound alike, to the point that there are some pretty great mashups on YouTube. The Taylor Swift song also shares elements of the song Young and Beautiful by Miss Lana Del Rey. Ray. Are the superstars in a feud because of it? No, actually. Both Lana and Taylor seem to be quite friendly, most recently collaborating on a song called Snow on the Beach. Fans loved the song, but one thing was quite troubling. Lana was nowhere to be heard. Lana was apparently featured on the song, but fans couldn't hear her singing at all. Do their voices just blend perfectly, or did Taylor purposely remove Lana from the song as a way of getting back for all the wildest dreams drama? I guess we'll never know. Taylor has been accused for more than just stealing songs. Kanye West has accused her of stealing his merch designs. The Kanye West and Taylor Swift feud is well documented, but Yeezy stans couldn't help notice a couple aesthetic choices Taylor made in her Reputation era were reminiscent of the rapper's Life of Pablo style. First, they noticed the font used on her tour promotional materials was really similar to one on several pieces of merch Kanye was selling in his pop-up stores. Then she showed up wearing a Marc Jacobs embellished camouflage jacket that also gave people Kanye vibes. This just adds to all the Taylor versus Kanye drama, and if you don't remember how that feud began, let me quickly remind you. The moment that started it all, when Taylor Swift was awarded an award for Best Female Video for You Belong With Me in 2009, Kanye climbed the stairs at the award show to interrupt Taylor's acceptance speech with the now infamous proclamation, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." Shortly after, a stunned Swift told reporters, "I was standing on stage and I was really excited because I just won the award. Then I was really excited because Kanye West was on stage, and then I wasn't excited anymore after that." Along with Taylor's album Lover, she released a Lover poetry book. Well, another author tried to sue Taylor for insane similarities. The lawsuit claimed that Swift had borrowed a number of visual elements from the author, including pastel pinks and blues and an image of the author photographed in a downward pose. She also claimed a copyright to the book's overall format, including a recollection of past years memorialized in a combination of written and pictorial components and an interspersed photographs and writings. Just one problem. In their response in February, Swift's lawyers said those elements were nothing more than commonplace features of almost any book, meaning they fall well short of being unique to qualify for copyright protection. Beyonce also had some trouble with Taylor after her 2019 Billboard Music Awards performance. Taylor Swift opened up her live performance of the song Me with a drum line that had a lot of viewers at home wondering if they were about to see a surprise Beyonce performance, but instead, Taylor Swift came out and struck a pose. To say it was reminiscent of Beyonce's Homecoming is an understatement, and Twitter users were quick to share their opinions. How come nobody on Taylor Swift's team told her that completely and very poorly ripping off Beyonce was not a good look, one user wrote. Another user said, Taylor Swift really stole Beyonce's set like that? But get this, Taylor Swift's director for the Bad Blood music video is now accusing Beyonce of stealing ideas for her Formation music video. The director says they tried to say she's wearing a black crop top and Beyonce wore a black crop top, but they don't realize in 2015 in Bad Blood, Taylor Swift was wearing a black crop top already. I really do think, by the way, that Beyonce copied Bad Blood, he says. Now, this next story was highly publicized and has Taylor Swift as the victim of stealing. She's the victim this time. On June, I'm gonna do that one more time. Now, this next story was highly publicized and now has Taylor Swift as the victim. On June 30th, 2019, the American singer-songwriter came in dispute with her former record label, Big Machine Records, and its new owner, Scooter Braun, over the ownership of the masters of her first 6 studio albums. It was a highly publicized dispute, drawing widespread media coverage and led Swift to release the re-recorded albums Fearless, Red, Speak Now, and 1989 from 2021 through 2023 to gain complete ownership of her music. Scooter Braun had become the owner of all of the masters, music videos, and artworks, including those of Swift's first 6 studio albums. In response, Swift stated that she had tried to purchase the masters but Big Machine Records had offered unfavorable conditions and she knew the label would sell them to somebody else instead. Scooter Braun purchased Big Machine Records in 2019 and became the owner of the masters of Swift's first 6 albums, which he later sold to Shamrock Holdings in 2020. Consequently, Big Machine Records and Taylor Swift were embroiled in a series of disagreements leading to further friction. Swift alleged that the label blocked her from using her music for the 2019 American Music Awards and her documentary on Netflix, Miss Americana. Swift announced she would re-record the 6 albums and own the new masters herself. Swift continued to express her disapproval about Scooter Braun and again rejected another offer made by Shamrock Holdings. Next, one of Taylor's first cases of stealing goes all the way back to her 2008 hit You Belong With Me. Taylor was accused of stealing lyrics and concepts from a band called Saving Jane and their song titled Girl Next Door. Taylor most likely copied and reformatted the concept of Girl Next Door itself, giving it a more upbeat, energetic pop sound to counter the grittier pop rock vibe of the original song. The concepts of both music videos are also eerily similar, all the way down to the ongoing feud between the evil popular brunette and the geeky down-to-earth girl with glasses. The most obvious lift, though, is the lyrical similarities from the chorus Girl Next Door and the pre-chorus of You Belong With Me. Here's the Girl Next Door lyrics. She's the prom queen, I'm in the marching band, she's a cheerleader, I'm sitting in the stands. Now, here's Taylor's lyrics. But she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts, she's cheer captain, and I'm on the bleachers. Wow, Taylor. Really? Next, Taylor Swift was accused of stealing lyrics from singer-songwriter Matt Nathanson. Possibly Taylor Swift's most critically acclaimed song, All Too Well, has sadly also been accused of lyrical plagiarism, lifting a lyric more or less verbatim. And I forget about you long enough to forget why I need to. That is Matt Nathanson's lyric, and this is Taylor's lyric. And I forget about you long enough to forget why I needed to. Wow. Eerily similar. According to Spin magazine in 2012, Nathanson wrote in a since deleted tweet, "She's definitely a fan, and now she's a thief." Last but not least, let's chat about the Olivia Rodrigo-Taylor Swift feud. Although this story doesn't necessarily involve stealing, Rodrigo is known to take heavy inspiration from Swift's writing techniques. Olivia and Taylor were very friendly after the release of her breakout hit Driver's License, but after Taylor Swift invited Sabrina Carpenter to open for her on the Eras tour, Olivia was apparently very offended. If you don't know, her song Driver's License is reportedly about Olivia's ex Joshua Bassett cheating on her with Sabrina Carpenter. Months after Taylor dropped the Sabrina Carpenter news, Olivia released the song Vampire with lyrics like, "I used to think I was smart, but you've made me look so naive." And fans are convinced the song is referring to ex-best friend Taylor Swift.